Hi everyone. I want to show you some different things that I do with my yoga therapy clients when I'm trying to get their feet to be a little stronger and to move a little better, right? So we're trying to improve awareness of what you're feeling in your feet. We're trying to improve control of how your feet are moving, and we're trying to build a little bit of strength in there as well. So just for fun today, I'm going to be using a resistance band. So this is a stretchy latex band. If you have one of these, this is great. If you don't, you can do a lot of the things that we're doing with a strap or a strap-like object, like a leash or a bathrobe tie. Won't feel exactly the same, but you can give it a try and see what you think as a way to explore. And for today, I'm going to do all of these seated in a chair. That's often a great place to start because you aren't trying to manage your weight and balance and standing at the same time. However, most of these practices can also be done in standing, and you might then progress to standing and see if you're able to balance and stand solid in your feet and still do these same exercises with your feet. So we're going to start just in a seated position on a chair. Ideally, you're going to pick a chair where your feet can be planted relatively flat on the floor. And we're going to see if we can feel a connection between the base of the big toe, the base of the pinky toe, and the center of the heel into the earth. Taking a moment to just feel the feet, taking a few breaths here. And then we'll start with the toes themselves. So for the toes, we're going to take the band. You might need to fold it a few times to make it a little bit smaller. I'm going to put the band around the big toe of one foot. I'm going to come back and feel those connections between my foot and the floor. And for this, I'm just going to take the band in my hand. I'm going to pull up on the band as I lift my big toe, and I'm going to try to keep my other toes grounded to the floor. If that piece is hard, you could always bend over and use your hand to help you keep your toes down. So now I'm pulling up a little bit in the band, and I'm going to try to push that big toe down into the resistance. So this isn't a particularly strong band that I'm using today. Partly, this is just to really get you used to the feeling of pressing your toe down into the resistance of the band. And there's a little bit of strength and muscle engagement that's going to be required to do that. You get to choose how much you pull up on the band here. That's going to both facilitate the lift and help create a little bit more muscle action as you're pressing down. So, you might do 8 to 10 on one side. If you really are working on this, you might do more of these. You might do a few different sets of them. You're going to notice what you feel in the 2 feet and maybe even how the 2 feet look. Sometimes there's a little bit of a change in appearance or change in sensation after we do one side. And then I've lost my nice neat folds here. I'm going to put that band around the big toe of the other foot. Now, 2 feet are often different, and that's pretty typical, honestly. So I'm going to hold on to this band. I'm going to pull the band straight up. See if I can get the toe to lift. Other 4 toes are pressing down, so you can always reach down and facilitate that if you need to. And we're looking to be lifting this toe up, keeping the base of the toe grounded to the floor. And then you'll press down into that resistance. Allow the strap to lift, press down into this resistance. And we're going to go slowly here with these repetitions so that you're really allowing some sensation, right? Some ability to sense what's going on. And you're also working on controlling the movement of the toe with this little bit of extra input here. It's a little bit of toe gym today. And then you can let that go, taking a moment to notice how you feel. I didn't count because I was talking. If you're counting, you may do 8 to 10 of them. Feel free to repeat if you like later, if you found this to be really helpful. You may already be noticing that what you feel in your feet has shifted. So when we're doing these different movements, we're causing our brains to pay attention to our feet in different ways. And so sometimes you can perceive a difference. And as well, of course, we're putting some input into the muscles of the feet. So the next thing that we'll do here is we're going to lift the other 4 toes. So you can put the band under your 4 toes. Now you're going to keep the big toe down. If it's hard to keep the big toe down, you can reach down and keep it down. You also can put a little something like a quarter under that big toe for it to press into. Sometimes it helps for it to get that little bit of extra information. So you can press the big toe down, lift the 4 toes up, spread them if you can, and then lower them into the band. So for the 4 toes, you've got the band around a little bit more here, and it can be a little imperfect. So we're looking to control the big toe. This is my weak side. So the big toe is struggling here a little bit. So we're looking to lift and lower. And you're just doing your best to control the movement as you're pulling up into that band. Clearly I can stand to do a little bit more of this one myself on this foot. And then once you've done, again, maybe 8 to 10 repetitions, you can stop. Take a moment to notice what you feel in your feet, as well as up the chain, right? Because the feet determine or interact with a lot of what happens further up the body. So you may notice that this work is reverberating, right? That you're noticing some effects somewhere further up. So that can be really interesting to pay attention to. So I'm going to take that folded band now. I'm going to put it around the 4 toes of my other foot. Putting the foot down, getting grounded. Grounded into the big toe. Might be a little easier on this side, we'll see. And then you're going to keep the big toe down, lift the 4 toes up. Keep a little pressure. Oh, there goes the big toe. See, this is challenging. Keep a little pressure on the band as the other 4 toes come down. So you're doing your best to keep your big toe rooted and to work in the other 4 toes. It's actually harder on this side. So this is not about perfection. This is about learning, right? So we're learning something that probably you don't do on a daily basis. Put a resistance band around your toes. So you're really learning a new connection between your brain and your body. You're learning a new action. And there's a curve, a learning curve to that, right? So you're going to come back, release the foot when you're done. Feel what you feel on each side. And then we'll add a little bit of a variation that can be interesting. So you're going to band the big toe again. And I'll show you 2 different ways to do this. And which one you choose to practice with is going to depend a little bit on what's happening in your body. So option 1 is you're going to pull the band a little bit so out to the side, out to the outer edge of your foot. And so as you lift your toe, you're going to try to resist that band. So you're pressing the toe out and then lowering. If your toe tends to drift in anyway, you might pull the other way. So you're facilitating, and I'm even just going to use my leg here to hold this strap. You're facilitating pulling the toe out a little bit more. So it's a little bit more in line with the foot as you're lifting and lowering. So we're seeing if we can train this big toe to be a little bit more in line with the foot instead of over on top of the other toes. And we might do a few repetitions like this. Either way, this toe is not ready to be pulled in that direction. And then again, you're going to rest and notice what you feel. And then we're coming back to the other side. So band around the big toe. And then holding the band in the hand. And you have a choice here. So if you're pulling towards the outer edge of the foot, as that toe lifts, we're resisting the pull of the band, keeping the toe in line with the outer edge of the foot. And on this side, I can do this fairly well. But if you're finding that really challenging, you can bring the band around the other side. So now the band is facilitating a little bit, the toe tracking more with the outer edge, or the inner edge, of the foot. So you can do a few repetitions either way, wherever you're playing on this side, and you do not have to do the same thing on both sides. So for me, this is really hard on this foot. I'm going to do this the way that's a little bit easier. This foot can play a little bit with this resistance. So either way, once you're done, remove the strap from the foot. Take a moment to feel. And now we're going to do something a little different. So we're going to take the band, maybe a little broader. You're going to take it around the ball of the foot. And here we're going to work to line it up more with the actual ball of the foot. So I am actually going to fold this band maybe once, not quite as much as I did around the toes. And I'm going to try to line it up so it runs under both the big toe mound and the pinky toe mound of the foot. And then I'm actually going to extend my leg so that my heel is on the floor and my foot is elevated. I'm going to try my best to relax my toes, and I'm going to hold the two ends of the band in the two hands. So now I'm going to press the big toe side of the foot into the band, and then I'm going to press the pinky toe side of the foot into the band. So I'm moving through my forefoot here. Now, if I want to, I can use these ends to kind of facilitate this movement. That can feel really nice. So you've got that sling of the band through the ball of the foot, and you're pulling here on alternate sides and just helping the foot do this movement, pushing into the big toe mound, pushing into the pinky toe mound. Or you can hold more of a constant pressure and see if you can find the movement in the foot. Pay attention to your toes. So if your toes are running the show, you might facilitate for a little while, see if you can get the movement happening in your foot. And then you're going to let that foot rest. Noticing what you feel, noticing maybe how it feels different from the other side. And then you can bring the band around, it's a little tricky, around the ball of the other foot. Same thing, I went one end in each hand. And I'm going to extend that foot now so that the heel is on the floor and the forefoot is lifted. Toes are pointing up more towards the ceiling. And then the action here is pressing the big toe forward into the band, pressing the pinky toe forward into the band. This is a lot easier in this foot related to what I was explaining on the other side. But also, if I want to, I can facilitate. So I can use this to find a more relaxed movement in my foot. That can be really helpful. Or I can let the band be more constant and try to find a more active roll in my foot without over-efforting. So that can be a fine line. Lots of other stuff can happen as we're doing this movement in the foot. It doesn't have to be perfect for it to be effective. So then take a moment, both feet on the floor, and just kind of noticing how you feel. And then we'll do one more. So we're going to take the band, this time through the arch of the foot. So the band's a little broader here. I'm covering the whole arch of the foot. My foot's going to come down on the floor. And then here, I'm going to try to keep my toes down, the ball of the foot down. I'm going to pull up on one side and then the other. I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of movement here through the midfoot. So I'm looking for a little bit of lifting and lowering, maybe through the arch, but staying connected through the forefoot, the ball of the foot, and the toes. So maybe a little bit's happening in the ankle for this to happen. We're just seeing what's possible in the foot. And then after you've done some of that on one side, you're going to rest. Noticing how you feel. Then come to the other side. So again, broader band across the arch of the foot. Heel grounded. Base of the big toe and pinky toe grounded, toes grounded. And then we're pulling up alternately and allowing that to bring a little rocking into the midfoot. So this movement is a little harder on this foot actually. And that probably is connected to some injury history for me. And as I play with it, I'm able to get those little bit of movement. This isn't huge for most of us, but we're looking to get a little bit of movement through the midfoot. Maybe a little bit of movement through the ankle. Staying pretty grounded through the toes and the ball of the foot. So just noticing how this feels. And when you feel complete on this side, you can remove the strap. Take a moment with both feet on the floor to notice how you feel. You might, if you like, stand up and walk around, see if you notice a difference in your feet. And these are all wonderful. This whole practice is wonderful to play with. Feel free to spend a little more time or do multiple repetitions with each one if you find it helpful. And pay attention to what changes in your foot over time as you play with these movements. I hope you really enjoy the exploration. Thank you for practicing with me. Take really good care.